Hi, I'm Tristan from Fungi Perfecti's Mushroom Hotline. Thank you for choosing the certified organic Lion's Mane mushroom patch. It's one of the easiest to grow and the most rewarding of all of our indoor kits. Known by its Latin binomial, Hericium erinaceus, the Lion's Mane mushroom produces delicious fruit bodies of cascading, icicle-like teeth. It has a fantastic lobster-like flavor and is well known for supporting the brain and the nervous system. The bag you see in front of you contains the Lion's Mane mycelium, growing on a blend of alder chips and sawdust enriched with organic nutrients. The mycelium will decompose this wood-based substrate, using it as a food source to produce mushrooms. Once a fruit body is formed, the life cycle is complete. Each mushroom will produce millions of spores, and the cycle begins again. In addition to the patch itself, you will receive a detailed set of instructions specific to the Lion's Mane mushroom patch and a perforated plastic humidity tent. This tent goes over the patch, providing the ideal condition for mushrooms to form. To initiate your mushroom patch, the first step is to unfold the excess plastic taped down to the sides of the patch. This is the top of the bag containing the mycelium. You want to cut the bag off just below the filter patch. Next, after washing your hands, remove the mass of coral formations on the top of the patch, as these are bitter and inedible. And then fold the bag over the top of the patch and tape it down tightly. Next, you will want to cut one or more slits in the patch to allow mushrooms to form. If you would like, you can cut more than one slit. More slits will result in smaller mushrooms, but more of them. Fewer slits will result in fewer, larger mushrooms. Your job as a mushroom caretaker is to provide an ideal environment where mushrooms can flourish. The key to a successful harvest is maintaining humidity while allowing air exchanges to occur. You will want to locate your patch in an area that receives only ambient light, so best to avoid any direct sunlight, as this can dry out the patch. Other things to avoid are areas of low humidity, such as near a wood stove or an air conditioner. Ideally, the temperature should be between 55 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit. You will also want to locate your patch in an area of high traffic where you will be able to observe it regularly throughout the process and remember to mist it. Now that you've found a suitable location for your mushroom patch, you will want to place it on a plate, a pie tin, or other shallow dish, and configure the humidity tent over your patch as follows. As you can see, we've rolled up the bottom of the tent, sort of like a pant leg, so that we've got only 2 to 4 inches accumulating above the surface of the patch. The exact watering schedule will depend on the ambient humidity in your house. Misting schedules will range from 1 to 3 times a day to once every other day, depending on the humidity. If you see condensation on the inside of your humidity tent, that's a sign that you do not need to mist additionally. A good way to provide humidity without overwatering the patch is to spray the inside of the humidity tent. This will provide humidity for the mushrooms without actually making them wet. It's best to use non-chlorinated, non-distilled water for watering your mushrooms. If all you have available is chlorinated tap water, you can either boil it for 15 minutes or leave it out overnight to allow the chlorine to dissipate. It's good to keep in mind that the mushroom patch already has enough water in it to produce mushrooms. All you're doing is providing humidity and reducing evaporation. Within 2 weeks, you should see small, pinkish white primordial balls appearing at the places where you slit the bag on the outside of the patch. These primordia, or baby mushrooms, will mature rapidly, and you should have mature mushrooms after about a week. You can tell they're at the ideal stage of harvest once the spines elongate. If the patch tends to be forming airy clusters or the spines just aren't elongating, that's a sign that it's not receiving adequate oxygen. CO2 can accumulate around the base of the patch, limiting oxygen uptake by the mycelium. You can loosen the humidity tent, allowing the CO2 to escape, or you may have to cut additional holes in the humidity tent. When it's time to harvest the mushrooms, you can do so by simply grasping the cluster and twisting, or take a sharp knife and slit it at the surface of the patch. Either way, it should pop right off in your hand, and be careful not to damage the spines as they can be quite delicate. After harvesting your mushrooms, you can keep misting the patch for additional fruitings. Typically, your mushroom patch will produce between 1 and 2 pounds of mushrooms over the course of its life. Additional fruitings should appear at 2-week intervals until the substrate has been exhausted. At that point, you can continue to grow the patch if you wish outdoors by expanding it onto hardwood logs. Inoculation methods for outdoors are detailed in the books Growing Gourmet and Medicinal Mushrooms and Mycelium Running by Paul Stamets. If you have any further questions about your lion's mane mushroom patch, please feel free to contact us. Thank you so much for watching, and happy growing!